us to welcome the Deputy Chief Justice and the Vice President of the Supreme Court of Kenya. And we're going to do that. First of all, we're doing the national anthem by our scouts. Yes. Now, the dance crew, you're going to come in with the Deputy Chief Justice, yes? Now, our dance crew, let's go there. Yeah, oh, they're here. Thank you. Now, our technical team, give us the song. Let's rise as we welcome the Deputy Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya. A round of applause as we welcome the Deputy Chief Justice.
Itata madei haina maibu. Kameshika kama ngoma za munishi. Vitu safi hatutaki vitu fishi. Ongeza energy kama mtu amedishi. Yesu mbele shetani yatumpishi. Tuanze za kitambo. Kameshika. Tukoja za kisasa.
A round of applause for our Deputy Chief Justice as she's coming.
Oya twende sasa. Kameshika.
A round of applause, a round of applause.
Kristo kangoma kameshika. Ni Mkristo napenda kukatika. Kameshika kangoma kameshika
Kana anajua kudance ndio?
Kameshika kangoma kameshika
Apatiwe dance style, apatiwe dance style.
Hebu imagine kameshika
Apatiwe dance style.
Kama maji, sisi tumetulia kama mtungi iko na maji.
Makofi.
Starehe bila gharama, stima zikizima tunachukua mandarama. Si atu complain, hakuna kulalama kwa Yesu.
Jambo na vigelegele.
Skia, na by the way, kwa church zikishika, tukidance baraka tunashika, shetani ako down, tunamzika, hapa tutadance jasho itatiri, tuanze za kitambo, kameshika, tukoja za kisasa, kameshika, we watu siasa, kameshika, oya twende sasa, kameshika, ni Mkristo napenda kukatika, kakiristo kangoma kameshika,
Jambo na vigelegele akiingia. Jambo na vigelegele.
Kangoma kameshika. Kameshika kangoma kameshika. Kameshika kangoma kameshika. Kameshika kangoma kameshika. Ni Mkristo na
We will dance. We will have a lot of time to dance, believe me. Now, so let's remain standing. We want to start with the guard of honor. The scouts, you're ready with the guard of honor? Leading the guard of honor? They've already done. Okay, thank you so much. So we're doing the national anthem. Let's remain standing and silent, please. Silence. Silence. Tell your name. Shh. Thank you. Now, our technical team will give us the national anthem.
Oh God of all creation, bless this our land and nation. Justice be our shield and defender. We dwell in unity, peace and liberty. Plenty be found in our borders.
I promise that I'll do my best to do my duty, God and my country, help other people at all time and obey the Scouts law.
Thank you so much, Scouts. So now we want to pray. Let's go ahead for a word of prayer. Our Father and our God, we come before you this morning. Thanksgiving in our hearts, we don't take it for granted that we are alive. And even as we go about this day, we pray that God will shall send your angels to charge over us. That Father, this day shall go smoothly in your name. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. In Jesus' name we pray. Okay, let's keep quiet. Let's keep quiet.
A round of applause as they leave the stage. A round of applause. A round of applause. Thank you so much. I want to acknowledge that we have different schools that are present with us. And also, I want to thank the schools and also the task force and the partners for preparing this town hall with the Deputy Chief Justice. So at this time, I want to welcome of Bagadi Primary School to give us the welcoming remarks.
Obada, the head teacher, primary, and I don't work alone, and therefore I'll take the shortest time possible to introduce my team. Please, the teachers from Bagathi, just walk in front very fast. Teachers from Bagathi Road Primary, please just come in front here for a brief introduction. Let's be fast. Let's be fast. And as they are coming, I really take this opportunity to appreciate all my neighboring school joined hands together for this occasion. The school has a population of 1,000. The special needs, the special children with disability are 41. 16 are in the extreme room. And as we are in front here, this is the team we have. I will just say their name and they wave. Be fast. On this other side is Mr. Jumba, the deputy. Just wave to the team. You can say that. Mr. Jumba, you can just greet a word. Just
compound. We are very happy to be with us here. We have a special day for us for this school. Very much welcome. Karibuni sana.
Okay, for the others, I'll mention your names as you have. Teacher Winnie Tito, the leader, the in charge of special unit. Teacher Kelly Kimani, special unit. Teacher Nancy, grade 6. Teacher Judy Madara, special unit. Teacher Doris, grade 6. Teacher Otiende Sarah, grade 2. Teacher Nyabuti, just wave, grade 5. Teacher Jakait, class 8. Teacher Emma, grade 5. Teacher Joyce, grade 6. Teacher Njagi Ceciline, grade 1. Teacher Sumba Evans, class 7. Teacher Martin, our ICT teacher, class 8. Teacher Caroline is our senior teacher, acting senior teacher. Teacher Ruth does special needs with the special children helping. Teacher Penina is our ECD children, the babies. We have the babies in the ECD. They are over 70. We have Teacher Baya, grade 4. Teacher Christabel, grade 6. Teacher Unia in the ECD. Teacher Nyachae in grade 3. Just wave to the guests. And Teacher Pauline is in grade 5. This is the team we work with. Thank you so much. And may God bless you as you continue working. I have my co-host, Principal Jacinta from the high school. Principal Jacinta, you can just walk to say hi to the guests. Principal Jacinta, we were together.
Our Chief Guest, Deputy Chief Justice, the other judge who is around, and all invited guests, colleague teachers, our students, hamjambo. Tumefurahi sana. Umekaribishwa katika Mbagathi High School and Primary. As you can see, we share the field. We are the high school, but we are a baby of the primary school. It's the primary school that bore this child called the high school. We are delighted that today we are here. We have a population of 555 students, girls only. Initially we started as boys, but we have transitioned to have a girls' day school. Actually, our catchment area is the larger Kibera. Around 90 or 95% of the students come from Kibera. We are very happy that the girl child will be empowered. Seeing you as a female Chief Justice, they were telling me that now they want all of them to join that law practice. Karibu sana.
Not forgetting the BOM. The BOM are represented. Just wave to the crowd. You can stand where you are. We have Bishop Sophia and we have Mr. Maina as the BOM chair. Thank you so much. And On that note also, I have my colleagues from the public school, just wave. Shadrach Kimalel, where are the directors from other schools? Just stand where you are and wave. From the other neighboring schools where you are, Jimsy, St. Luke's, Peace Junior, just wave, just wave. I can see the other one is there behind. Thank you so much. At this moment, I just want to give a brief history about the school. This is a very old school. It was started in 1957. 1957. How many years are those, girls? Many years. That's good. 1957, it used to have an enrollment of 3,000, but now we are at 1,000. The school is inclusive. We integrate the special needs. We have the ECD, and we have the normal classes, and the integrated special children sit for their KCPE, and they're also going to sit for the CBC in grade 6. Therefore, we take this opportunity to appreciate our stakeholders, the Ministry of Education, the TSC, and other bodies that have supported the school in whichever way. We thank everybody, and as I welcome you, I still appreciate all of you who have come today to make this day a success. So as we move on, may God bless you, may God touch you, and you reach out to a child somewhere. Thank you so much, and be blessed.
Thank you so much. So I would also like to welcome the Sub-County Director of Education to come and give a few welcoming remarks. Let's give her a round of applause. You have 2 minutes to just give your welcoming remarks. Thank you.
Our Deputy Chief Justice, all protocol observed. I must say this is a great occasion for our sub-county. It's an honor to have this meeting here in this school, and especially at Kibra. My name is Rosemary Njogu. The Assistant Director is Madam Lydia Mutegi. She was not able to come here because there is a meeting going on at the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development, where we have our CS, Professor Magoha, who is holding a nationwide meeting with all the sub-county directors and regional directors about the CBC. You realize that this year, our grade 6 is doing the first national assessment, and will transit next year to our secondary schools in junior secondary, so there are issues to be ironed out and also preparation to be done. So that is why my sub-county director is not here, and also our regional director is also in that meeting, and so would not have been able to attend. And so I am representing all. We must say that this is a very good day for us children, because we are going to interact with the judicial system, and we are going to know our rights, and we are going to air our views. We know that children need protection, irrespective of where they come from, and therefore it is important for us, even in education and in other sectors, to uphold the rights of the children. Require us, even as adults and even as the judicial system, to make sure that they are safe, and they need to know their rights as much as they learn it through that whole such a forum, so that we are able to see how important they are and how important their rights are. And we are happy that you've come to Kibra, where we have all children coming from various backgrounds. Like you have seen, we have in this school, we have children who have special needs. We have those from minority groups. We have those, even those in jails. And we have those also who are vulnerable. And all those are children who require, as a judicial system, they require our help and require our attention. From time to time, even during exams, they may find themselves in conflict with the law, especially as regards to malpractices in exam. And sometimes we find one or two in conflict with the law. And sometimes we also have those that do exams in police stations as they await their case hearing when they have maybe come into conflict with the law, maybe they have stolen, maybe that is common in Kibra. We don't normally miss one or two, but we would wish that this does not happen, and so it is important also they know about the law. We want to thank you for this occasion, and we also want to thank you, our Deputy Chief Justice, for coming and honoring this occasion. Thank you very much.
A round of applause for her. A round of applause. A round of applause. A round of applause. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. At this point in time, I want to welcome the representative for the TSC, Madam Olympia. But need I remind you again, this is a children's town hall. So all the adults, kindly, who are doing the speeches, let's make them quite like 1.5 minutes, please. This is a day for children since we are celebrating the pre-Day of the African Child celebrations. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Our chief guests, all protocol observed. Good morning. My name is Olympia, representing the Teacher Service Commission. I work here in Kibra as a curriculum support officer, and ours is to support teachers in class. Today I'm humbled by this ceremony where we acknowledge the child. The child is our customer, us teachers, and we really appreciate the recognition, and they feel uplifted. Thank you so much for the organizers, and may God bless you.
Thank you so much. A round of applause. A round of applause as she leaves the stage. Thank you so much for that brief introduction. At this point in time, I want to welcome the representative for the National Council of Children's Services, Madam Perez. I don't know if she's around. She can come and say hi. The representative for the National Council of Children's Services, NCCS. Here she is. A round of applause as she comes. A round of applause.
Lady Justice, Teresia Mateka, our teachers, my colleagues from NCCS and the Department of Children's Services, na watoto wetu wote, hamjambo. Leo nina furaha sana kuwa pamoja nanyi kuadhimisha siku ya watoto ya mtoto wa Afrika. Mnajua juu ya the Day of the African Child? Is it your first time to hear about the Day of the African Child? Okay, now the Day of the African Child is an annual event. Tunaiadhimisha kila mwaka kusherehekea siku ambayo watoto wa Afrika walipigania haki zao kule South Africa miaka mingi iliyopita. Na tukiadhimisha hiyo siku tunakumbuka wale watoto ambao walipigania haki zao, na pia sisi wenyewe tuangalie vile ambavyo tuna safeguard rights na welfare ya watoto wa Kenya. Okay? So ni siku ambayo tunailaunch tarehe 9 kila June, na National Rally tarehe 16 June. Hiyo ni this week actually, yes. Yeah, so watoto katika sehemu zote za Kenya wanajumuishwa katika activities ya kuwakumbusha zile rights zao. Mnajua mna haki zenyu, na mnajua serikali imeandika watu wengi sana kazi, kuanzia kwa walimu, Madam Deputy Chief Justice, children officers, kulinda haki zenu. Sasa mfurahie siku yenu, mmepewa nafasi, mtuongeleshe, mtuulize maswali zote zile ambazo mnataka kuuliza. Asante sana.
A round of applause. A round of applause. So now we want to welcome our CEO.
Mtoto News. at Mtoto News, stroke founder. So this one, I want us to do a very good round of applause as she comes, okay? A very good round of applause. I know we are saving our hands for the DCJ, but we are also going to do a beautiful round of applause. Even though we are doing a beautiful round of applause, please take 2 minutes, please. Now. So in 3, 2, 1, a round of applause.
Thank you very much. It's a privilege, Madam DCJ, for you coming for the call to talk to our children. Watoto eh! Watoto! 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 Asanteni sana kwa kukaa. Nimefurahi sana kwa sababu ya kukaa. Okay? Asanteni sana. Hii ni opportunity yenu kuuliza maswali. Tunakuwa na maswali jo, si ndio? Mingi sana, si ndio? So hii ni time yenu ya kuuliza hizo maswali. Unaona wadosi kwa dosi wamekaa hapa, kwa dosi wengine wamekaa huku, kwa dosi wengine wamekaa huku juu. Si ndio? Tunauliza maswali. Si ndio? Ni time yetu ya kuongea. Si ndio? Sawa, asanteni sana na sisi tufanye. Si ndio? Ndio tusikizane, si ndio? Haya, asanteni sana. Thank you so much and welcome.
A round of applause for Miss Jennifer. A round of applause for Miss Jennifer. Thank you so much, Miss Jennifer. So next, I would like to invite the Child Governor of Starehe Sub-County. So welcome. Let's give him a round of applause as he comes. 2 minutes.
Good morning, everyone. I hope you guys can see me. It's truly an honor to be standing here before the Deputy Chief Justice, Lady Justice. I must say, I am glad that everyone was able to come. It is truly an honorable day for us children, Day of the African Child, I'm pretty sure as you know. Pretty sure the representative for NCCS has told you much about the Day of the African Child, so I don't think I have much to talk about. But let's have some fun today, right? Don't be too cooked up with trying education. I'm pretty sure most of us are candidates, so don't put your mind too much on exams. Try to have some fun in life. Thank you.
A round of applause for Alamin Ahmed, the Deputy Governor for Starehe Sub-County. Thank you so much, Alamin. So at this point in time, I want to welcome the Deputy County Commissioner. The Deputy County Commissioner to do also the welcoming remarks. A round of applause. Most of us might prefer doing a salute. A round of applause, a round of applause, a round of applause.
Thank you very much. Honorable Justice Philomena Mwilu, Justice Honorable Teresia Mabeka, the teacher of this school, other invited guests, pupils and parents. Good morning. Good morning. Ukinita sana sikia mzuri. My name is Benson Mwangangi Kimatu. I'm an assistant county commissioner in Kibra, Line Saba. I'm in for the deputy county commissioner, Bwana Gideon Obogi, who would not be with us today because of the launching of the Kazi Mtaani program. That is a national program and it is starting today. Mine is just to welcome you, madam, into this function. As a national government, and the national government administrative officers, where I belong, we do a lot of justice administration. A lot of it. And that is why we are very happy this day, because mmekuja kutusaidia. Sisi makesi ya watoto, ya wamama, ya wababa tunashinda naye kwa ofisi. Lakini leo naye umekuja, najua utasaidia sisi kuendeleza hiyo. Ile maswali tuko naye tutasaidiana. And I want to appreciate the girls where they are. We do a lot of alternative dispute resolution. And it is a day, even as we celebrate the children today, that we give them an opportunity even to air their grievances. I'm not very sure whether the environment is conducive for them to air their grievances, but I believe so. Most of these children that are in these schools come from the slum areas. So we need to have a slum perspective as we deal with them. Most of them are from Lain Saba. Lain Saba has no public school, and so most of them, they come to this school. Secondly, even as we progress in this Day of the African Child, it's like the girl child is overrepresented here. When you look at it, I think you are doing very well as a government. We have Lady Justice Mazeka, Lady Justice Mwilu, we have the Chief Justice, Mother Kome, who is also a girl child. And therefore, as a government, and I know that is where we are headed to as a government. The government has put in measures and mechanisms to ensure women and the girl child are well represented and take charge of maybe decision making. And when we have ladies in the helm of justice, we are very sure things shall go right in that justice department, because ladies si watu wa kuyumba namna hii na justice. Hao ni watu wa haki, wakiona unaegea mali mbaya hata wanaanza kulia kwa sababu wanataka haki tu itendeke. And we are very happy as a government, because that, I think, is the direction of the government, and even as we head to the general election. So, Madam, karibu sana. This is your day with the children. This is the day with the children of the slums. And therefore, I want to just wish you well as you continue interacting with us. We shall also have our own issues with you, and we shall engage with you. Thank you so much. Asante.
A round of applause for him as he sits. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So at this juncture, I want to acknowledge the task force members. We have Caroline Adero from the Aftercare Services. We have Ann Thiongo from the Directorate of Children's Services. So I'm just going to tell them to stand and just wave. Okay? Yes, so first of all, let me start with Caroline Adero. Caroline Adero. Yes, just wait for us. A round of applause, a round of applause, a round of applause. We also have Ann Thiongo. A round of applause as she waves. Thank you. We also have Sally Nyarangi from Strathmore Law School. They are lecturers from the Institute of Family Studies. And also Philip Ogada. Let's just stand and wave. Where are they? From Strathmore Law School. Okay, sawa. We also have Wakili wa Watoto Club by Strathmore University. So Strathmore University, let's stand and wave. A round of applause as they wave. A round of applause. We also want to acknowledge Kenyatta University, still under Wakili wa Watoto Club. A round of applause, a round of applause.
Thank you so much. So now, we want to be entertained. So many entertained by our dancers from Bagathi Primary. Sasa sijui ka Omar anaweza compete nao, lakini ni sawa. But let's have our dancers. Karibuni. Wapigie makofi wakikuja.
Wapatieni moral, wapatieni moral, wapatieni moral.
So wakidance, nataka tukue na competition.
Sikujua kama Mungu angekuja, nilitoa matumaini ya kumpata.
Simameni.
Hello? Hello? Shh. So this is what we are going to do. The tent that I see is performing quite well. We acknowledge them. Sindio? Tent enye ina dance vizuri wakiwa na wao. Tunawa acknowledge pia, sindio? This is a children's town hall. Tunafaa tujienjoy, sindio? Mko freshi? Mko freshi? Thank you so much. Acha sasa tuanze. Wahaipwe. 1 2 1 2 1 2. Mbona kazi fanya?
1 2 1 2.
One, two, 1 2 1 2 1 2. One, two.
Mike tumezima, tuwashe.
One, two, 1 2.
1 2 1 2.
1 2 1 2 1 2. One, two, 1 2 1 2. Makofi kwao, makofi kwao, makofi kwao. Imagine hii side yangu haikuwa na energy.
Hii side pia walikuwa wamededi.
Mbona mmeboeka?
Hii side wamededi bana. Mmeboeka? Mmeboeka? Ebu technical team, one more song nione kama crowd yangu iko sawa. One song technical team.
Moja tu.
Moja.
So I want Eli nimwangalia muonyeshe dance styles. Na hii side ingine, hii side. Sawa?
Twende.
Tunataka kujua washindi, si ndio?
Yeah.
Haya.
My people from the tent. Siwaski. Mnataka gani? DJ nasikia. DJ.
Tuangalie, twende. Siski, shangwe, siski. Hii side mmeboeka sana. Tuko na dance hapa. Siski shangwe na vigelegele hii side, mmeboeka.
Jerusalema ikayalami ilondoloze uhambe nami zungangishilana Jerusalema ikayalami ilondoloze uhambe nami zungangishilana Daudi alikulana buso wami aukulana ilondoloze zuhambe nami Daudi alikulana buso wami aukulana ilondoloze
Wako freshi? East side, wako freshi? East side, wako freshi?
Thank you so much. That was really amazing. Thank you so much, Asanteni Sana. It's a children's town hall. Hello? If you can hear me, clap once. If you can hear me, clap 2 times. If you can hear me, clap 5 times. Tell your neighbor, shh. Bagadhi girls, ambia neighbor wako chemist kusumbue.
1 2 1 2 1 2.
1 2 1. Ah, sawa, imerudi. It's back. Sindio? Sindio? 1 2. When I say 1 2, you say 3 4. 1 2 5 6 44 45 112 113 1,459,656 44 99. Thank you so much. Asanteni sana. Thank you so much. That was amazing. A round of applause for you guys. A round of applause. So, we want to move on with the program. At this point in time, I want to welcome Brian King, who's going to introduce the panel discussion. So this is the part you guys can ask questions and interact with the Deputy Chief Justice. Sindio? Mko freshi? Thank you so much, Brian. Karibu.
Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Yes, welcome to the Day of the African Child. Personally, napenda kuita Christmas yetu because basically ndo celebration ya watu peke yetu, the way we are and having fun and being a child, but also kuuliza the necessary questions. Sindio? Yes, so at this point, by the way, if you can hear me, clap. One, two, 1 2. Okay. If you can hear me, clap once. If you can hear me, clap twice. Okay. Okay. 1 2 1 2 1 2. 1 2 1 2. Okay, good. So at if you can hear me, clap once. If you can hear me, clap twice. Okay, at this point, I'd love to welcome the Honorable DCJ, Justice Philomelo Mwilu, and Our Lady Teresia Madeka to our children. Welcome to the Day of the African Child. Yeah, at this point, I want us to basically get to the children. See, we came here for us. If you have a question you want to ask the DCJ, you'll just raise your hand and we can come to you. But first of all, I'd love to, welcome Vanessa. Vanessa had a question for the DCJ and Lady Justice. Maybe they can just kindly hear her and tell us what they think. Everyone, if you can hear me, clap once. If you can hear me, clap twice. Thank you.
Morning. How are you guys? If you can hear me, clap once, please. Twice? Thrice? Good. I want to ask a question. According to the law, children cases should be determined within 6 months. Why do we still have cases taking more than 6 months?
Yes, thank you, Vanessa. I forgot to mention, by the way, Vanessa. They'll come back to you. They'll answer your questions. Yes, just give it to him. Okay, as before I forgot to mention, we have members from the NCAJ. They're also part of our panelists. Kindly stand up so that we can acknowledge you, please. Members of the NCAJ task force, please. A round of applause. Omar taught us how to do a round of applause. A round of applause, everyone. Yes, thank you so much. Okay, moving on to our next person. I'd love to call Eddie. Eddie, kindly give us your question as we give Lady Justice and the Lady Justices their moment to answer. Yeah, go to your mic.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Eddie Otieno Otieng. I have a question. We realize that in some cases, children are held in cells for more than 24 hours. That is my question.
Yes, thank you so much, Eddie. As you people know, basically, according to the law, you're not supposed to be held in a cell for more than 24 hours. And so, maybe I will give chance to Our Lady, Justice Teresia Madeka, to answer the 2 questions before we move on. People, if you can hear me, clap once. If you can hear me, clap twice. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Brian. But before I start, can I have the DCJ just say a word, and then I'll be able to, we'll delve now into the questions. Hamjambo. Hamjambo tena. Sasa mgeni mheshimiwa amekuja, anataka kujibu maswali, alafu salamu ni soft, salamu ikuwe tamu, si ndio? Mkoje leo? Nasikia, inasema waje? Mko freshi? Mko freshi? Hata mimi niulize kama niko freshi. Barida.
It is the Day of the African Child. I'm hoping that you can hear me. Children, can you hear me? Yes. It is your day, or are you not an African child? Yeah. We are glad to be here as the Judiciary of Kenya, and we are going to try to assist you to the greatest extent possible. The things that affect children are cross-cutting across government agencies. But speaking as the judiciary here, we will specifically answer those questions that give you problems if you should come in conflict with the law in whatever capacity. We will try to answer that. Now, we have partners, and you have seen the partners here with us today. We have the probation, we have the children officers from the ministry. Those, I want to put you on notice, please be ready, because certain issues you are going to have to answer. The justice system, although housed in the judiciary itself, as actors across the republic, and as actors across government, we all are in government. And it is our responsibility to ensure that our children are safe. That's a primary responsibility. Without children, we do not have a society. And straight to the issues, because I want to answer as many questions as you are able to raise today. What has the judiciary done so far? The judiciary has appropriate laws that have been made by the people of Kenya through their representatives in parliament. But they have the primary constitution. That is the primary law that gives the rights of children. You were told already that this day would not have been if, I think it was in 1976, in South Africa, some children did not find it necessary to fight against apartheid in education. Now that fight gave rise to today, to the 16th of June. But today, because we are here, we will answer your questions that relate to the judiciary. And I want to tell you that the judiciary, through an organ called the National Council on the Administration of Justice, has done all there is to be done, continues to do all that there is to be done to ensure that our children are protected. Through the National Council on the Administration of Justice, we appointed a committee that is chaired by the Honorable Lady Justice Madeka, and that's why I brought her here. She is going to be the person who must answer all your questions, because I want to see what they have been doing there. I want to find out that whether or not they are doing and have been doing what we sent them to do, which is to ensure that our children are safe at school, at home, in the streets. And so let us start with the first question. There's a lot more the judiciary has done. I'll talk about that later. But let us start with the first question. Why are children matters in court for longer than 6 months? There's a law in this country where election-related cases must be determined in 6 months. Justice Madeka, I want you to tell these children why election petitions can be determined in 6 months, but children matters sometimes go beyond 6 months. Justice Madeka.
Thank you. Mko freshi? Mko freshi? Nimeulizwa swali na nitajaribu kujibu. Kwa nini kesi za watoto zinachukua muda mrefu zaidi ya miezi 6 mahakamani zetu badala ya ile miezi 6 ambayo sheria imesema? Na Deputy Chief Justice amesema vizuri kwamba kesi za elections huwa zinachukua tu miezi 6 kotini, lakini za watoto zinaweza hata endelea zaidi ya mwaka, miaka 2, miaka 3. Nimeona watoto kutoka rehab school. Hebu mniwevie kiasi. Mpo? Now, let me just say this. Your ladyship na watoto ambao mko hapa. Tuko na sheria ya watoto. Katika hiyo sheria imeweka ile tunaita child justice system. Child justice system ni ile njia ambayo mtoto akiingia mahakamani anafata. Mara nyingi anaanzia hata kule kwa chief. Anaweza kushikwa kule kijijini na chief, aletwe kwa polisi, atoke kwa polisi, aletwe kotini. Lakini pahali kesi inaanzia kuna mashahidi ambao wanaandika statement. Si ndio? Wanasema mtoto A either aliiba kitu fulani. Kwa hivyo wanakuja wanaandika statement kule kwa police station. Wakishafanya hivyo inapelekwa kwa prosecutor. Tuko pamoja? Tumeanzia kwa kijiji, tumekuja kwa polisi, tumeenda wapi? Kwa prosecutor, si ndio? Anaangalia file, anasema hii kesi inafaa kupelekwa mahakamani, alafu inakuja kwetu kotini. Ikifika kule kuna hakimu, either utapata magistrate kama ni kesi ambayo sio ya kuua mtu, kwa sababu kama ni ya kuua mtu utaenda high court. So utapata magistrate. Pale kotini ya magistrate unasomewa mashtaka, wale ambao mshapitia mnajua. Ukishasomewa mashtaka unapatiwa siku ya kesi kusikizwa. Hiyo siku utapata kwamba ule hakimu ameketi pale hana control, hawezi kuna siku kutakota shahidi atakosa kuja. Kuna siku moja mashahidi watakosa kufika kotini. Si ndio? Wakose kuja. Na yule pengine mwenye kudhulumiwa ni mtoto pia. Mara nyingi unakuta kuna mtoto ambaye ndio amedhulumiwa, ndio victim. So hakimu anaweza penda kumwachilia yule mshtakiwa, aseme hata kama ni mtoto mwenzake, aseme wewe leo kesi yako, ingawa wewe ni mtoto, unaweza ukaenda nyumbani. Lakini utakuta pia pale kando kuna yule mtoto mwingine anangoja kufanyiwa haki. So inakuwa tupeane siku nyingine, yule shahidi, yule victim akuja atoe nini? Ushahidi. Tuko pamoja ama nimewapoteza? So kuna siku ambao pengine shahidi atakosa kuja kotini. Kuna siku nyingine utapata pengine yule mtoto ni mgonjwa. Kuna siku nyingine utapata pengine hakimu ameenda transfer. Kuna siku nyingine mambo yanatokea mengi, lakini lile liko kubwa sana ni kwamba hiyo sheria inasema tuwe na children's courts. Koti ambazo kazi yao kabisa ni kufanya kesi za watoto. Tuko na changamoto watoto wenzangu. Mimi nilikuwa mtoto, nitawaambia story yangu baadaye. Tuko na changamoto kwamba mahakimu ambao tunao ambao wanaweza kuwekwa kwa hiyo koti. Hiyo koti inakuwa ni ya kufanya kesi za watoto peke yake. Unakuta huyo hakimu pia anawekwa kazi zingine kwa sababu kazi za kesi zimerundikana kule kotini. Tunaambia watu kesi nyingi mwende mfanyie, mjaribu kutoleta kotini, mjaribu kuelewana, mfanye mambo mengine ndio isifike kotini, lakini zote zinarundikana huko. So kuna sababu nyingi zinafanya kesi zichelewe. Lakini sitaki kutoa excuse. Nataka kusema kwamba hatuna excuse. Hebu rudia hapo, hamna excuse. Sema hivi. Sema na nguvu, hamna excuse. Sio nyinyi, sisi. Mtuambie sisi hatuna excuse. Kwa hivyo hizo changamoto ninasema ni changamoto ambazo sisi wenyewe tunafaa kuzisuluhisha. Kwa maana tumepewa nafasi na tuweze kuweka hizo koti ambazo zinaweza kusikiza kesi za watoto ziishe haraka iwezekanavyo. Shida ni hizo challenges ambazo saa nyingine zinafanya kesi isiweze kutupiliwa mbali baada ya miezi 6, kwa sababu kuna yule ambaye pengine amedhulumiwa, kuna yule anangoja haki pale, na unakuta kwamba hakimu anasema wacha tumpatie nafasi alete ushahidi wake, ama yule ambaye alikuwa anasikizwa kesi yake aweze kutoa habari yake, ndio kesi yake iweze kusikizwa vizuri. So tuko na hiyo changamoto, na ni jukumu letu kama vile tuko hapa, na najua mkubwa wangu amesikia kwamba ile changamoto tuko nayo inaweza kuwa dealt with kwa kuhakikisha kwamba mahakimu wamewekwa wa kutosha kufanya hiyo kazi. Na kama task force tumeshafanya hiyo maombi kwamba mahakimu zaidi wawekwe kufanya kesi za watoto peke yao. Ukiniruhusu DCJ, kuna hiyo mambo ya watoto kuwekwa kwa cell zaidi ya 24 hours. Hilo ni swali nzuri sana. Linafanyika. Kulingana na sheria, hakuna mtu anafaa kuwekwa katika cell zaidi ya 24 hours bila ruhusa ya koti. Shida ambayo inaingia ni kwamba koti haitajua. Sisi kama kotini hatutajua mpaka umeshafika. Kwa hivyo hiyo inakuwa ni swali kubwa sana ya polisi watuambie, sijui kama wamekuja leo. Sijawaona, pengine wako njiani ya kutuambia watatuambia ni kwa nini wakishika mtoto wanamweka zaidi ya 24 hours, lakini tutajua sisi kwa bahati mbaya hatutajua kabla hujafika. So ukifikishwa utuambie umekaa beyond 24 hours, sasa itakuwa ni jukumu letu kama koti ama judiciary kuweka mbinu za kuhakikisha kwamba wapeane explanation. Kama hawana, tuna jukumu kuna kesi ambazo zimepitishwa ambapo unakuta ofisa hata anafanyiwa ile tunasema anaambiwa alipe mtu damages ama amlipe kwa kumdhulumu kwa kumweka kwa hiyo 24 hours bila ruhusa ya koti. Maana ukishikwa uwe ni mtoto uwe ni mtu mzima, katiba inasema within 24 hours umefika wapi? Mahakamani. Kama wanataka kukaa na wewe beyond 24 hours anafaa kuja kotini aombe ruhusa na ambie koti ni kwa nini. So kwa wale ambao mnawekwa, ukipata unawekwa before 24 hours, beyond 24 hours, tafadhali ukifika kotini weka mkono wako juu, ambie hakimu, mimi nilishikwa juzi na nimeletwa kotini leo. Nataka hawa waseme ni kwa nini waliniweka zaidi ya huo muda. Na nakwambia kwamba koti ina mbinu ambazo zimewekwa na sheria za kuhakikisha kwamba kama kuna dhulma ilitokea, kutakuwa na either punishment ama ile tunaita hiyo kulipwa hiyo ridhaa kwa sababu ya hiyo kudhulumiwa. Asante sana.
Justice Matheka, wewe na komiti yako mjue leo hatukuja hapa kupass blame. It's not a day to give excuses. This is what the law says. Cases za watoto zitasikizwa within 6 months. If within 3 months those cases are not finished, certain category of those cases should be dismissed right there. If the judiciary is unable to take its role, and I'm here to say the judiciary is able to take its role, my promise to you, to the children of this country, to the justice system operators in this country is this: starting today, it is our responsibility, as it has always been, that when children are brought to courts, it is our responsibility to inquire from the children. Half the time they don't even have lawyers. I'll be talking about pro bono. Half the time they don't know their rights. The reason they are in conflict with the law is because they are that disadvantaged category of the citizen. I will tell you, children, if your case is in court, through your parents, I'll be talking to your parents later, get that case dismissed if it is not going on. It is the business of the judiciary to ensure that once the case gets to court, it is heard. Anything else we say is an excuse. We are very powerful people. If we give an order to the police who has not brought witnesses, that order has to be obeyed, although this country has a terrible habit of not obeying court orders. But if they are not obeyed, then the child will go away free. Now, when a wrong is committed, it ought to be addressed. There should be a redress for a wrong. But if the courts are able to do, and I will repeat this, political cases in 6 months and are unable to do children cases in 6 months, then let the children go free. That's what the law says. And if they go free, you know what society you are creating, because they will not have been corrected for the errors they are committing. There is no excuse for the cases to be in our courts longer than the time that is given by the statute. Thank you very much. I think we can take the next set of questions.
Well, everyone, right before we take the next question, I think we need to appreciate that. A round of, A round of applause, everyone. A round of applause. Wewe tupige makofi bwana, hamjafurahia? We need to be very happy for that. In the next 3 months, if your case is unheard, the Lady Justice has directed it should be dismissed. That is a leap. Tena makofi tena. A round of applause. A round of applause. Now. But if you can hear me, clap once. If you can hear me, clap twice. Thank you so much. Now for the next round of questions. Before I proceed, remember, you have a question, raise your hand, I will come to you. The Lady Justice is here. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity, manze. Tuulize maswali, sindo? Yes, we need to ask our questions. I will call Daisy, Njoroge, and Evans to come and give us their questions. Daisy? As they come, remember, think of your questions. The Mbagathi High School, Mbagathi Primary, and the other schools. Everyone, think of their questions. Kirieni, and then we can just ask. Sindo?
I have a question, and my question is, why isn't the judiciary working with law clubs to teach children on their rights? My name is Evans Otieno.
Thank you so much, Evans. Why isn't the judiciary working with law clubs to teach children about that? That is a very valid question.
In fact, let me deal with it immediately. Is there another question?
Yes, from Daisy.
Let's get the two.
Okay, Daisy.
I'm Daisy Njoroge. I have two questions, in fact. What is the judiciary system doing to make the judiciary system friendly to children? Yeah, to children. And then my next question is concerning drug abuse. When a child is caught abusing illegal drugs, like bang and the rest, the drugs are taken by the police and maybe the child is taken to jail. Where are the drugs taken, or should I ask, where do they go to? And it's connected to another question. How comes the cases concerning defilement are granted bail instead of offering justice? Offering justice.
They are granted bail instead of offering justice.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's appreciate Daisy and Evans. A round of applause. Makofi. And by the way, before they answer, in your schools, do you have law clubs? And if not, pressure your teachers. Wako hapa leo, this is your day. Pressure them. Tell them you need law clubs so that you can learn about your rights. So that you can actually cooperate with the justice system. If you can hear me, clap once. If you agree with me, clap twice.
Now, thank you very much. The first question, why are we not cooperating with other agencies to ensure that children access justice? I do not know to what extent that accusation is true, but to the extent that it is true, let me say the following. It is we who have started and are continuing with something we call court users committees. In the court user committees, we have all law organizations that should take care of how justice is dispensed in the courts. We have the Law Society, we have the police, we have the probation, we have prisons, and we have the ordinary mwananchi through the chief, through the DC, through everybody else. What I've worried over the years about is whether after the court users committee, what the representatives learn and determine at those court user committees, they disseminate back to the people. But if you have, because they should, it's not them who go to learn. They learn for the benefit of the persons that come into contact or in conflict with the law, in this case, children. I undertake that when I go back, we are going to get more involved in the court user committees on children matters. On children matters. Today is about the African child. As to these other organizations, you heard Justice Madeka start by saying, oh, when you are arrested, you are taken to the chief, you are taken to everybody. Now, everyone in the justice chain, not just for the children, but about children today, since that's what we are talking about, must of necessity be made to know that children matters, like election matters, must be finalized within 6 months. So everyone who comes into contact with a child who has breached the law understands that they must move with speed. As for interacting with other people, you have your answer today. That is why we have Strathmore here. That is why we have the Wakili wa Watoto clubs. That is why the judiciary has encouraged students who take law as a subject to get involved with you children. But you have to make the first call. You must of necessity make the first call. Invite us to your schools as judiciary principally, and through the National Council on the Administration of Justice, we will reach out to as many as we are able to meet. I'll be talking later about our deficiencies, our challenges. We don't have enough magistrates. We don't have enough money to do everything that we must do, but I didn't come here today to give excuses. I'm here to offer solutions as to how we can better access to children when they come into conflict with the law. What is the judiciary doing to make it more friendly to children? It used to be rough. We now hear children cases away from adult cases. We clear the court and the magistrates hear only children matters. When children are brought to court, we have tens in most of the courts. Unfortunately, there are not many, but we have tens in courts where we have children matters, where children are held before they get into the court, separate from adults. We encourage, and this is what I said in the beginning, we ask, and I will ask this faster. In fact, I'm glad I came, because then I have seen a gap somewhere. I must speak to all the magistrates who have the responsibility to hear children matters, to themselves be friendly. You know, the court is a scary place. So if a child gets to that court, first of all the evidence they had, everything they wanted to say to court evaporates because of fear. Now, if it is we, the magistrates, who have been scaring you, we will change that, because it is all we are asked to do. We will talk to you in a more friendly way if we haven't been doing that. It is our responsibility to speak to you well. It is our responsibility to ensure that once you are in the court premises, you are not intimidated by the other side that you're going to give evidence against. But I'm glad you asked that question, because you have given me the opportunity to ask you to bring us the incidences where you think we must improve. We are trying to do the best we can, but where we fail, we need you to support us to improve. Where do the drugs that are recovered during these children in contact with the law go to? Now, the judiciary will give orders for forfeiture. The moment they are given in as evidence, they become the property of the court. The law gives ways in which those drugs and indeed any other exhibit must be disposed of. I am hoping to God that that question is not suggesting that the drugs find their way back either to the children or to the market. I am not aware that drug business is legal in this country. On the contrary, it is in fact illegal. But where you have evidence that the drugs find their way back to children, back to society, run to the nearest police station, and if the police don't take action, report it to the nearest court. I'm not quite sure the court can suo moto move, but surely we are not helpless. Why do child molesters get bail instead of getting justice? That's an interesting question. Now, bail is a constitutional right. Everybody and every offense is bailable, and everybody is entitled to bail if they meet certain criteria, which is they will present themselves to court when required to attend court next, which means that they are not a flight risk, that they will not run away from justice. So bail is itself a process of accessing justice. Now, the only thing, I hope I'll remember to talk about this at the end, is what children must do themselves to keep themselves away from crime and to keep themselves away from criminals. As parents, to keep your children away from those people. You must not compromise criminal offenses, and the child must not be put in a situation where they are so intimidated that they refuse to go to court to give evidence. Because they can also come to court, and because they have been threatened and other stuff, they'll just stand there and say nothing. Now, we only pass judgment once evidence is given. But bail is a constitutional right. It is how to deal with bail and to deal with people once they are out on bail so as not to commit further offenses. I'll give an opportunity for a further question, please, or further questions.
Hello. Let's appreciate the DCJ. Kindly applause. Mtoto, if you can hear me, clap once. If you can hear me, clap once. If you can hear me, clap twice. If you can hear me, clap again. Sawa. We go to the next questions. We'll have Alamin Ahmed and Sarah. Don't forget again, if you have a question, just raise your hand. Nitakuja, sawa? Sawa, if you can hear me, clap once this side. If you can hear me, clap once. If you can hear me, clap once. I'm seeing what to clap. If you can hear me, clap once. If you can hear me, clap once. If you can hear me, clap twice. Thank you.
I think I forgot to introduce myself earlier. Hi everyone, my name is Al-Amin Ahmed, current governor of Sarai Sub-County at Kenya Children Assembly. And my question is, in terms of cases of rape and FGM, female genital mutilation, don't you think that it is demeaning to ask a child to present evidence in such a case?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sarah, and I have a question. Why doesn't the government add schools in slums in order to reduce the congestions of pupils in schools?
Thank you. Let's appreciate them. Appreciate. Clap. Sawa. Our ladies.
Thank you. It is demeaning for children to give evidence in rape. You're talking about defilement, and in FGM cases. Now, this is how the law operates. A case is determined upon evidence. I would not therefore call it demeaning, although that is what it is, but I would say if there was a better way of collecting evidence from children so that they are not subjected to further torture at the hearing of giving that evidence in front of the perpetuator, then that other method has to be used. But as the law stands today, unfortunately, the victim must give evidence in court. There'll be supporting evidence from the doctor where that is applicable. And there'll be evidence from various other witnesses who may have seen what happened. Now, why I find that question overly important is because it is a suggestion towards a change in the law. That is the reason the National Council on the Administration of Justice exists. That is the reason why we have the committee that is headed by the Honorable Justice Madheka. As it stands today, unfortunately, we must give evidence. Without evidence, we cannot convict. And unfortunately, in these cases, the level of that evidence must be one of beyond reasonable doubt. But Justice Madheka has homework to go and find out whether the law can be tweaked to allow a better way of collecting evidence in sensitive cases such as rape and FGM. Now, why doesn't the government build enough schools, particularly in slum areas, to stop congestion? I'm glad I have people here from the ministry. Please come. Where are you? Right behind me. Please answer that question. Why don't we have schools everywhere, and particularly in disadvantaged areas such as the slums, to allow quality learning and to stop the congestion that we currently have? Madam.
Thank you very much. Although my seniors are not here, I will try and answer the question that the government, through the Ministry of Education, they are doing all they can to make sure that we have schools, enough schools for our children, and they have engaged the CDF to assist in increasing the number of classrooms in the already existing schools and establish other schools where land is available. And I must say that it's been quite an effort, and even now there are classrooms already being built to take care of the already high number of enrollment in our secondary schools and in our primary schools. There is money for infrastructure that is given by the government, and also the parents have a responsibility to provide the infrastructure, enough infrastructure for the school. So that is something that the government is putting in a lot of effort, and I am sure eventually we will have enough classrooms for everyone, and especially in the slums. Thank you.
Let me say the following. And education is not a favor in this country. It's not. It's a right under Chapter 4 of the Constitution. And therefore, government must do all it must do to ensure that we have not just schools, but schools from where quality education is obtained. This issue of resources and everything else considered, it must always be remembered. For us, if the matter should be taken up by any NGO or indeed anyone, any law-spirited Kenyan, and brought to us, we shall just affirm the Constitution. Education is a right under Chapter 4 of the Constitution. And I think it is compulsory in the lower grade. So just give us education and then be left to deal with the challenges that are encountered as we educate ourselves. Justice Madheka.
Sorry, is this, okay, it's on. Actually, it is to say something about the question by the Deputy Governor? Yes, the Deputy Governor, about the homework you gave me. I thought I would just add that as it is now, victims of those kind of offenses, when you asked about the judiciary getting friendlier, there are efforts and they are ongoing. First, to train the people who handle children along the way to deal with the effects of hiyo makosa, hiyo dhulma ambao mtoto atakuwa amepata, kama ni defilement ama ni rape ama ni FGM. Kwanza tunajaribu kufanya kazi na counselors. Kuna koti fulani ziko tayari zinafanya kazi na counselors. Counselors, people who come and talk to the child and talk to the victim, ili kumpatia nguvu ya kutoa ushahidi na kujua kwamba yeye ndiye aliyedhulumiwa na ako na haki ya kutoa ushahidi wake. Na pia in the law, katika sheria, that court ambayo inasikiza hiyo kesi imepatiwa nafasi ya kuangalia kile tunaita vulnerabilities ama upungufu, ukosefu wa kutoa ushahidi kwa huyo mtu, kama ni umri wake ama ni vile alifanyiwa, ili koti itafute njia ingine ambao tunaita intermediary. Mtu mwingine anaweza kuruhusiwa na koti kutoa ushahidi kwa niaba ya huyo mtu ama mtoto. So kuna hiyo ambayo koti zimekubaliwa kwamba ikiwa that position ambao Deputy Governor amesema, mtu anasikia yako demeaned, hawezi kuzungumza, anapatiwa hiyo nafasi ya mtu mwingine kuzungumza kwa niaba yake. Kwa hivyo kuna hayo mambo, na pia yale tumeambiwa na DCJ ya kuangalia kama sheria inaweza kubadilishwa ili yule ambaye amedhulumiwa aweze kutoa ushahidi yake mara moja, anaporipoti asije akaja anarudia mara mingi. Tutafanya hiyo homework. Asante sana.
Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Again, a round of applause. Now, Freya Kami, but then I'm very happy. I'm very, very happy. If you're happy and you know, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know, and you really want to show, if you're happy and you know, clap your hands. Thank you so much. Now, before I invite the head teacher, tulisahau tuko na watu wanatujoin virtually. I hope wangapi wanajua Zoom. If you know Zoom, clap your hands. If you know Zoom, amjui Zoom, Zoom basi ni watu wanatujoin online, si ndio? And then wametuuliza maswali because they are also children like us and they have some questions, si ndio? Yvonne Clara from Amagoro Primary has these questions. Why do children go to court after 24 hours? How does the court help the children whose parents are separated? Which type of case can lead a child to be taken to court and finally judged? What can the judiciary do when you get a person in a problem like rape? Yes? Now, thank you so much. I would love to hand over to the head teacher. She also has a question. Sindio? And this is to show even the adults here, if you have a question for us or the panel, kindly raise your hand. I will come to you. Sindio? Applause for the head teacher. Bagadi, applause for your head teacher.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Now, just to add a point on the side of education and inadequacy in the slum. Now, I just want to say that our private schools and individuals who have put up private schools are also coming up to support us, especially in the slum areas, because of the increase of the children and the accommodation in the public schools. So we have the private schools, and they're also represented here, who take also a big number of our children. And maybe a question or a point of direction. We find that sometimes in our institution, you find that a child is defiled. They come to school from the previous day's incidents. Then we take them to the nearest hospital. We call their parents. And when the parents come up, they follow up with the hospital. It's recorded at the police. Then as the procedure goes on, because of our profession, we are not able to find certain people to follow up for us this case in an easy way. So you find that as we have to do our work, the case of this child is there. We cannot go there even as a witness or get the parents from the community. So there is need of maybe referral to certain nearby facilities or direct facilities in cases in the school, so that as a case comes up, somebody else or the children's department can come up and pick and follow. And on that issue also, you find that as you follow the case, the parents, after a short while, they tend to withdraw the child from the school, disappear, and the case is left hanging. The justice for this child is not taken, so the child will remain traumatized, will remain with that stigma. So you may direct us in that issue. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, teacher. Now, as always, we want to follow the program. So let us call the children so that the justices can handle those questions as together with the children. Love to call Eddie and Michelle. Eddie and Michelle, yeah? Okay, we'll have both Michelles first. Everyone, if you can hear me, clap once. Okay, kama unanisikia clap tena. Watoto saseni hapa mbele sasa. Good.
Hello. My name is Michelle from St. Luke's Primary School, and I have a question. What does the judiciary system do to the safeguarding of the child? What does the judiciary system do to safeguard of the child?
Okay, thank you, Michelle. The other Michelle.
Hi, everyone. My name is Michelle, and I have a question. My question is, shouldn't children be trained on their rights before being given to the justice system? Thank you.
Oh, sorry. Now, before we move on, finally, we've got a question from the audience. Sindo, our lady, come and say. Come and introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, Sindo. And then that question.
Good morning, school. Good morning once again. My name is Dana from Peace Junior School, and I have a question. My question is, how can a code of conduct for staff and students help prevent abuse?
Okay, thank you so much. Now we hand over to the lady justices so that they can handle those few questions. Again, of course, if you feel like you have a question, just raise your hand. We are about to end our panelist question. If you let this chance go, my friends, you'll miss out. Sindo, just a minute, I'll come back to you.
Thank you very much. We will answer these questions as follows. Somebody asks from Amagoro why children are taken to court after 24 hours. If I understand the question, it is that everybody who is found committing or having committed an offense should be presented to court within 24 hours. That's what the law says. If anyone is taken to court after 24 hours, and there are incidences where one could actually be taken to court after 24 hours. For instance, if one is arrested late on Friday evening, there's no court that works on Saturday and Sunday. So they will, in that instance, therefore, be brought to court on the first working day, which is Monday. But in a case where, which is what I think this child is asking, an offense is committed and the child is arrested, and for some reason they are not taken to court, and the reason is not a reason. This is what we said in the beginning. on your first encounter with the court, on the first day when you get to court, have the courage. I've been asked why we don't train instead of taking them straight to court. Have the courage to tell the magistrate, by the way, as you see me being brought here today, I was actually arrested 2 weeks ago. And although it may not lead to an automatic acquittal, because it shouldn't, then punishment will be given to those that are responsible for having kept a child, and really not just a child, anyone, from court 24 hours after they were arrested. Then the same children ask what we are to do to assist children of separated parents. This is where our partners come into play. But if the question is the children of separated parents on cases that are already before us, if the case is in court, the law guides us on what to do about, first, the right of each parent to see that child, the continued right to continue fending for the children, that is supporting them. But if the question is outside a case that is in court, because the judiciary only takes a case once it has been brought to court, the things which happen outside of court, I shall ask our partners to answer that question, as I will ask the chair of the committee to give an answer. But in court, we are guided. We are told, ensure the child is in the same position as they were in when the parents were together. And we attempt to do that nearly always. Now, what kind of cases are children charged with? Very many. Theft, that bullying, the fighting, and so on. But I want Justice Madheka to answer this question for a particular reason. Defilement and rape. What the judiciary does, unfortunately, is deal with the case once it is in court and upon evidence that is given to us. Now, you heard Justice Madheka talk about other interventions that we apply, ask intermediaries to talk to the child, professional counselors to strengthen the child's, because after those attacks, that is if the child is a victim and not the offender, anyone, not just a child, will feel frightened even to open their mouth. They are traumatized. So to the extent possible, and that's why I said I'll be talking to the magistrates who handle children matters, we really have to make the children comfortable to enable them give us evidence, because without evidence, we cannot convict. Mwalimu, you ask a good question, and this is where I have a case against parents, and I am a parent myself. A parent who gets themselves involved in compromising a crime against their children is not fit to be called a child, a parent. A parent who compromises or gets into a situation of compromising a crime against their own child, or indeed anybody else's child, is not fit to be a parent. And therefore, and teachers are parents, if teachers find, I'll not call it find, discover that a child is walking not in their normal style, they must surely talk to the child. If teachers notice a withdrawal from a child, they must try to find out what happened. Because if parents fail to do the right thing at home, teachers cannot compound that problem by, on their part, failing to do the right thing. But where the teacher does the right thing and reports to the police, and because they have no way of follow-up, then they never know what happens, which is what Mwalimu is asking, first, you have every way of following up. Nobody stops you from going back to the police station to find out whether that case was taken to court. 1. 2, nobody stops you from going to court to find out, once it got to court, what actually happened. Now, the police have to be exceedingly vigilant in their role of investigating these crimes. A case will fall. A case, and I have myself done cases where clearly an offense has been committed, but the person that is brought to me before court is not the perpetrator. Unfortunately, I have to acquit that person. So the police, please ensure that your investigations are watertight, and teachers follow what is referral. Just follow. Go to the police station. Assign the deputy principal or somebody to go and find out why a certain case was not followed, and if it was followed, then with what conclusion. A parent who withdraws a child from school, you should report that person, that parent, to the nearest police station. I am telling you that the Constitution of Kenya 2010 gives education as a right. And therefore, if we keep quiet when parents withdraw their children because they are traumatized or for any other reason, we ourselves are as big criminals as the one who caused the initial trauma. So report. And once it is reported, there is treatment for trauma, but it will only be treated if it is known. If parents and teachers keep quiet, those children will just die of trauma. No parent is allowed to withdraw a child from school. In fact, don't I hear the minister always saying, the Minister for Education, that children must not be chased from school for not paying school fees? So if they will not be chased away for not paying school fees, how will a parent withdraw them for any other reason? They should not be allowed to do any such thing. What is the judiciary doing to safeguard the rights of the child? One of them is what we are doing today. The other thing I said, we already, under the NCAJ, have this committee that goes around ensuring that all that concerns children is taken care of. When children are brought to court because they have been in contact with the law, we are doing those things that I've said we are doing, but which we promise to enhance. We have worked with the partners to ensure that children's interests are considered as paramount because the Constitution considers them paramount. As a matter of fact, the current Chief Justice, or is it because she's a woman, as soon as she was appointed, one of the first things she did was let children file cases. They will not pay court fees for doing that. Those are the things we are doing as an institution of the judiciary, the institution that takes care of ensuring that justice is availed to all, to ensure that the rights of children are protected. Why can't we train or educate children before taking them to court? If I understand the question to be that once a child has committed an offense, they should not be rushed to court quickly. They should first be trained. That question should be the other way around. It is a parental responsibility to start training our children from the moment they start to have a sense of their surroundings. But in the event that a child still comes into contact with the law, it's already too late. But there are things we do, the intermediary stuff. That's why I want Justice Madeka to answer that question. Not to answer it, but to give further answers to the question. To ensure that children first know their rights. And the first right is to know their surrounding and to know that nobody has a right to do anything that is wrong to them. And when it is done, then they report. But I will ask Justice Madeka, in addition to the earlier question, to say one or two things about it. Codes of conduct in schools for teachers and students. We already have those, and we have them in the way and name of school rules. One of the
comes back. Okay, hello, hello. Hello, hello. Wase wase. Wase wase. High school, wase wase. Wase wase. Okay.
Thank you very much. We already have codes of conduct in schools, and they are called school rules and regulations. And I was saying before power decided to disappear that one of the most painful cases for a judicial officer to hear is a case where a teacher has defiled a child. Now, a teacher is in the place of two things: parent and leader. So I want the child who asked that question to show me a rule in school or a regulation which says male teachers can inappropriately deal with female students, and the reverse, that female teachers can inappropriately deal with their male students. Anybody who does one of the above is a criminal. And they, first of all, don't need the code of conduct. They don't need the rules. There is the law to be obeyed. And where they are in breach, they should be punished by being taken to court, evidence produced, and they must be convicted. And by the way, for the information of those who don't know, the Sexual Offences Act is extremely unforgiving to anybody who is found guilty of any of the offenses under the Act. The sentences are minimum in nature, and you will be packed away forever if you are found to have committed an offense. Before I give the mic to Justice Madeka, Raphael Okoth asks the following question. If a girl child is about to be raped and somehow manages to kill the rapist in self-defense, is that case called murder? What is it called if it's not murder? Very good. Excellent. Because, you know your rights. And you must know your rights better, and that's the reason we are here today. Now, there is no offense called self-defense. Where a life is lost, the offenses are as follows. It's either murder or manslaughter, or, homicide is killing of beings like that. Now, murder is where, under Section 203 of the Penal Code, the offense is premeditated. You sit down and plan that I am going to kill Justice Madeka today. You have thought about it. Then you commit the offense. So you go and actualize your thoughts and kill Judge Madeka. Now that's murder. But where, like in the case of Okoth's question, you are killing in an act of self-defending yourself, the likely offense, about the only offense you will be charged with, one will be charged with, is manslaughter. Manslaughter is where one kills without really intending to kill. Now, what self-defense is that self-defense. So when one is charged in court, the defense they will give is this. It was either I was going to sit back and be raped. That was the option I had. Or I was going to defend myself. And if a death occurred in the process of me defending myself, tough luck, the court must be asked to let me go home. Now, the punishment for murder up to today is a penalty of death under Section 204 of the Penal Code. But the punishment for manslaughter is anything from going away scot-free or a sentence of imprisonment of any number of years. Now, how does one go away? You get away with it if, and I'm talking about self-defense here, if the defense of self-defense is completely established and that had the aggressor not done what they did, then the offense would not have occurred. And all this depend, all of them, depend on the evidence adduced and the circumstances in which the offense was committed. Then the court may well find that you are entitled to defend yourself, and therefore you will be let free. But should the court find that you used excessive force to defend yourself, then you may, one, the perpetrator may get a few years in jail. It's a question of evidence. But yes, and I'm glad you know that it won't be murder, but defense is not a crime. It is a defense. It is what you say is the justification for you killing somebody. And by the way, in a situation such as that, the evidence must be properly prepared. I said I'll talk about pro bono. Maybe this is the time to talk about it. Where a child does not have, or their parents do not have the resources to engage lawyers because lawyers are expensive. In 2016, Chief Justice Mutunga determined that all child cases, particularly the serious ones, the state, at its expense, will provide an advocate who will defend the child or watch brief for the child. Watching brief is sitting in court and listening to how the case is going, advising the prosecutor on the right questions to ask, so on and so forth, so that the rights of the child are preserved in court. Now, that expense for paying the lawyer will be met by the state through a system we call the pro bono service, where government provides money to pay lawyers to defend those that are indigent, those that are poor but have come into conflict with the law. Very briefly, Judge Madheka, please answer the question. What we have done to safeguard or to further safeguard the rights of the child, and why we are not educating children until they are arrested. Thank you, Judge.
Hello? Okay, thank you, DCJ. I was just wondering whether I should be able to ask two of the members of the task force who are present to respond to two issues. One is, I know that's for the police, but probation, you do this almost the same thing, but they're at the other end of the justice chain. What cases are children charged with? And then there's the other question about interventions for children of separated parents. The court does something when the matter gets to court, but Department of Children's Services deals with those things before they get to us, and sometimes when they are already with us. So I think Caroline and Anne can deal with those two. But before I give you the mic, maybe just to respond to the two questions I've been asked, what the judiciary is doing to safeguard the rights of children. I can tell you that as a task force, one of the things we did was to go around the country and to see what happens to children in the justice system. And we got information from children themselves on what happens to them. And as you've heard from many of the questions, they are real life issues. Mambo ambayo yanafanyikia watoto. I am sure the question from Raphael, from Okoth, is not something is just thought of from the air. And today, we have so many questions on sexual assault. So many. It's scaring for me. It means that thing is still going on out there. What's wrong with adults? Why are we abusing children? Because many of the questions we received today is about sexual violence against children. I think there's something you'll say at the end about that, and I think we have to come out strongly about, because we are jailing them, we are putting them in prison for life, but it's not stopping. I don't know what, maybe the solution is not kufunga watu, sijui ni kufanya nini, because tunawafunga. But what the judiciary has done, and especially in ensuring the rights of the child, when they get to the justice system, are safeguarded. One of the things that is very out there is that we have the court users committee, the children court users committee, where we all sit, every single one of us who touches a child, who deals with a children's matter before as it goes through the system. And there we discuss standards. Wewe ukishika mtoto utadili na yeye namna gani? This is what the law tells you what to do. Kama wewe ni polisi, sheria inasema ufanye 1, 2, 3. And when we meet, we talk about those things. Kama wewe ni children officer, because they are there, or probation officer, what are you supposed to do? Tunaweka standards, and those court users committees are where the courts are. So the judiciary is the lead, is the chair of that CUC. And those things are discussed there to see where are we going wrong. That's one of them. Secondly, we have come up with a training program for every person who handles children, so that we all sit in the same classroom. Kama ni training tuseme ya Nakuru, police officer, probation officer, magistrate, prosecutor, tunakaa darasa moja, tunasoma kuhusu haki za watoto. Ndio tukirudi pale kazini, kila mmoja wetu awe anajua ni kazi gani inafaa kufanywa, ni vipi tunafaa kudili na mtoto ambaye kesi yake inakuja kotini. So tuna mikakati. And of course, when cases come to court, we work together as a team. Wacha nikwambie kama kuna kesi inafanywa as a team, ni kesi ya mtoto. Because the magistrate cannot do it alone. Lazima aombe ripoti ya probation officer, lazima aitishe ripoti ya children officer, mara nyingi atume mtoto kwa hospitali aende angaliwe. Saa ingine order inatoka ya supervision, mwalimu wa supervise shuleni. Saa ingine chief anaitwa anaambiwa kuja utuambie maneno ya kule nyumbani. We work as a team. We ensure that we train these people to work together. Ndio ule mtoto mmoja ambaye amepata shida, kila mtu katika hiyo njia ambaye anahusika na hiyo haki yake anajua la kufanya, na anaweza kuulizwa kama alifanya, na kama hakufanya ile sheria inasema afanyiwe, anafanyiwa hiyo. Asante sana Madam DCJ.
Thank you very much. Before probation come in, I want us to listen to the following questions that have come online. And even as we attempt to answer those questions, I want the adults in the house to tell me what's wrong with us. The first question is from a child in Teso North, who asks, here in Teso North, we have no court. Going to Busia is too expensive, and it is denying children justice. Can you please remember us when posting judges? The answer is yes, and I've taken note that we have no court in Teso North. And then a child asks, how can the government help someone who has been raped and she does not have the evidence? Now, I don't know how to answer that question. If a rape has occurred, there must be evidence. If the evidence is of a sole witness, the evidence will be as follows. And this is what victims and parents and teachers and caregivers must know. As soon as a child, male or female, has been raped or defiled, the first thing is, please do not bathe. Be taken to the nearest police station, to be taken to the nearest medical assistant, or will collect the evidence. But these are the things that Justice Madeka does as she goes around, and it is not a Justice Madeka committee thing. It is a society thing. Now, it has to be appreciated. I said today was not a passing blame game, but it has to be appreciated that these cases come to us at the end as the judiciary. So can society please take responsibility? If a parent, when I was growing up myself, my mother was not the only mother I had. All the women in the village were my mother. And if they found me playing after school, instead of going straight home, I was thoroughly beaten. And my mother would not say a thing about it. So can we go back to the beginning? Can we go to our roots? And if a child, if in fact a parent meets a child, if anybody who is themselves not a child meets a child on the road, and they can clearly see something is the matter with this child, take action. The judiciary doesn't know. The judiciary is not on every road. But all of us are on every road. Take action, report. It is the only way it will get to court. And then once it is in court, we will deal with it. There cannot be a rape case without evidence. So let's teach our children how to have that evidence collected and preserved so that then corrective action can be taken. Why do the police catch? I suppose this means arrest. Why do the police arrest children who are not going to school and maybe the parents do not have money to take their children to school? Let me take all the questions because I'm told they are related. How does the child help the child? How does a child help a child who is raped? It's what I said. Let everybody be everybody's keeper. Then there is the question, how does the court help the child who is raped and the person who has raped the child kills himself? First of all, it's a good thing they kill themselves. Secondly, unfortunately, that's where the case ends, because it's a personal offense. It cannot be transferred to the mother or to the father to stand trial. So the case just ends there, unfortunately, and the child then has got to be maintained in trauma management and to be brought back to life. What can a child do when he or she has been abused sexually by their parents? Now, that question should make all of us in this room wet in our eyes. I have difficulties myself understanding that a grown man, I hear these days even a grown woman, can actually touch a child sexually. I have serious problems understanding it myself. But when the aggressor is the parent, do not know what to say. But as far as the law is concerned, that crime is called incest. Someone who has sex or sexual intercourse with a child that is theirs is guilty of an offense called incest. Again, the process is that difficult process, going through the collection of evidence, presenting it before court, and where there is conviction, what the judiciary does is it sends them away to jail. What action is the judiciary taking to ensure that the rights of children are not violated? All the things we've been talking about and more that we are going to have to do. If the child is an orphan, living with relatives who are themselves not able to or willing to take them to school, now what happens? Related to the question of why do the police arrest children who are not in school? I wish the police were here, but because the police are not here, and we have people from the ministry and from government generally. First, I'll start with the lady behind me. Please tell us why children are arrested for not going to school, yet the parents are not able to pay school fees. And what if orphans have no one to take care of them? Should they also be arrested? Please answer that question. And all our partners from probation, prisons, and the police. I know the answer, but I want it to come from these people. The other question is, there are many actually. Well, what will the court do in a matter where a mother is arrested and they have a baby, and they take the baby, the nursing baby, with them to prison or custody? What happens to the right of the child to education? First, if it's a nursing baby, they are not in school. That's the first thing. But the bigger question is this. The law allows a child who accompanies their mother to prison to serve a lawful sentence to stay with them until age, is it age 2 or age 3? Age 4. At the moment the child reaches the age of 4, the child must be immediately released back to society to continue with their life. But children of tender ages, we all know, must be with a caregiver who nearly always is the mom to take care of them. And at age 4, they will be released to go back to school. But why are we arresting? In fact, why don't I make this easier? Judge, in very few words, please tell us why the police arrest children who are not in school.
Thank you, Judge. I think, okay, she was about to answer. But one of the things, yes.
Please, give us the answer.
Thank you, our Deputy CJ. Children who are not in school should not be arrested. Rather, it is their parents who should be arrested, because it is a constitutional right for a child to go to school, and the person who has that responsibility is the parent. The parent is the one who is supposed to make sure that the child has gone to school. And therefore, we do not arrest the child, but we advocate that the parent is arrested and not the child. Thank you.
Asante, it's not the children who should be arrested, it is the caregivers. You know, these questions of rape, there are enough grown women in this country to have sex with, why is anybody bothering with children? This is all I am getting here. There's this question, for instance. A girl is raped. She has the evidence, and the girl becomes pregnant. But she's not ready to keep the pregnancy. What will the court do? Is abortion a crime? Yes, we have instances of children who are 10 and their mothers. It does not matter if the fathers of the children are also 10, but nearly always the fathers are over 18. Now, abortion is a crime in this country, and it can only be allowed in the circumstances stipulated in the Constitution. If the child, because they must carry, if the medical evidence is that the child can carry to term the pregnancy, they'll give birth. There are options thereafter. And nobody should have to put a child through this. But there are options, which is either give up the children to adoption or any of those things. But for me, the thing is, no grown person should have to do this to a child. Do not make children parents, because they are not even ready. Grown women over 18 are finding it very difficult to be good parents. What are you expecting when you make a child a parent? I hope all of us present, I actually feel sorry for these children. The grown-ups in the house, what is the majority of the questions so far asked? Sexual offenses? Are we sick? Is the society sick? Judge Madeka asked, beyond sending these people away to prison, and Judge Njoki must have thought when she did in 2012, in 06, when she ensured that the Sexual Offences Act was passed, that people would learn their lessons. Clearly they haven't. So where do we go from minimum sentences for those that are found culpable? What do we do as society? And I want to suggest the following, that this problem is bigger than the judiciary can handle alone. It's a societal issue, and we all are called upon to chip in and to ensure that people keep to their lanes. Let grown men go with grown women, and let children be children. Easier said than done. I want solutions from society, but if such people are brought to the judiciary, who I represent here today, and there is evidence, we'll just continue packing these men away in prison for life for most of the offenses, those long jail terms, and when they come back and they are not reformed, they will go back if they repeat the offenses. Now, I came here to answer questions. We came here to answer questions assisted by Judge Madeka. But let me first, on a general, go through the questions and see whether we can answer or how many of them we can answer. Refugee children in Dadaab, it is them who are asking this question. I'd like to thank you very much for giving refugee children such an important opportunity. I'd like to highlight to you Dadaab refugee children issue. Harmful practices affecting children in Dadaab. There are children in Dadaab refugee camps who dropped out of school because of teenage pregnancies. Teenage pregnancies. Child marriage is ongoing in Dadaab, which makes children miss school. Child labor is another issue that needs urgent intervention. FGM is still practiced, making girls miss classes or even drop out of school altogether. I would like you, DCJ, to take appropriate action to help stop this harmful practice in Dadaab. Durable solutions are very limited in Dadaab, and this is making children's lives in the camps very difficult. There is suspended registration of refugees, and this has resulted in a large number of undocumented children that cannot access basic services like food, shelter, health, and education. We want justice for survivors of SGBV. DCJ, I ask you to advocate for the provision of play materials like computers, video games, etc. in schools. Now, a child in a refugee camp has equal rights with a child that is taken care of by both parents in a stable home. All I ask is that those of us, the relevant ministry knows itself, that have the mandate to do what we must do for children in refugee camps, do that. When the cases come to court, I'll answer now for the judiciary. We will continue to do what the law asks us to do, which is to be firm with the offenders. I will carry these things, these questions, all of them that we've been asked today, even after watching the recordings that you're doing, to help us improve the delivery of justice to children in particular and to Kenyans in general. Are there different types of go ahead. No, just go on, go on. No, just.
So the questions, that there are more questions coming, and I would like to just, so that the DCJ can pick them up as quickly as possible. Why is the justice system so expensive? It's not accessible to children. What is
Let
our
me
role?
answer that. I'll be very brief on each
Yes.
of them.
Yes.
It is true the justice system is expensive, but we have said for children, there's no court filing fees. For children, we are not attempting. Since 2016, we are providing lawyers for serious cases against children to assist them in the hearing of the cases.
Is there a better way to correct children instead of sending them away from the family?
Yes, of course, there is a much better way, and that's what I talked about. I do not know what happened to parental responsibility, and we must go back there. But once one has come into conflict with the law, unfortunately, they will be taken to court.
We have a girl who is pregnant, and the mother kills notices and keeps
The mother needs help. The child is already pregnant, so beating them is not a solution. It is the mother who needs help, guidance. And where is the children department? The mother is the one here who really needs care and attention, because they must be stopped from beating the child. Beating the child is itself an offense, and beating the child will not correct the fact that the child is already pregnant.
So if she comes to court, how will the judiciary handle the case?
Now,
or help the girl?
The girl will not just walk to court.
Oh mama, nachopamba mi uniridhie. Oh mama.
The evidence that we shall be given to court, we will work with to correct the mother's errors.
There's a child who's asking, apart from fear, why is it that children aged between 15 to 17 are not given the opportunity to explain themselves before the court in case of an assault?
If that is true, the fault is ours. The fault is ours as the judiciary. One of the first questions we were asked was, why are we not friendly? And I undertook to, when I go back, to ensure that all of us treat children delicately, because they are delicate, that we listen to their concerns, and when they are giving evidence, we know how to deal with. In fact, there's a term that they are given in court. They are vulnerable witnesses, and therefore the court must appreciate them as such and enable them to give them an environment in which they must give evidence. We will improve.
Why is it that we don't take much interest when boys are defiled than we do in girls' cases?
The only time the judiciary would not take much interest is if the case is not presented to court. Any case that is presented to court and there is evidence which is given to court, if it is a boy who is defiled or it is a girl who is defiled, the offense is called defilement. It does not matter that it is defilement to a boy or to a girl. The law treats all offenses equally.
There are concerns about child labor in some places. What can the court do to stop child labor?
Now, the court can do the following to stop child labor. That is to ensure that where it is proved, it is adequately punished. But the solution here is not in punishment. Those who must stop child labor are unfortunately not the judiciary. It is these other justice sector operators who must ensure, and that's why I'm saying keep to our lanes, ensure that child labor, which is a crime, is simply stopped. So let everybody execute their mandate appropriately.
If I'm a child and I've reported to the police and they don't take action, where can I report? What do I do? I've gone to the police and they're not taking action.
You go to the next police. Now, if you reported to, because unfortunately those are the people to report to, then you also run, if it is a child reporting or their parent, somebody else can report on their behalf. Now, a policeman, first of all, has the primary responsibility of recording every offense. These are not the days where women would be battered by their husbands, and when they go to the police station, they are told, oh, it's a domestic issue. No, a crime is a crime. And where a child has not been listened to the police, let them go to the children's office. The children officer will run and process the case until it reaches the courts. Or in fact, any other adult, the people you called intermediate, each one of us, all adults in Kenya must take care of their children.
Thank you.
And all children are our children.
Thank you so much. There is a question here. If a child is the offender in a defilement case, what happens to that child? Who is the offender in a defilement case?
We've had to deal with a few of those cases, and I think we now have a judgment where a judge said they are both offenders, you know, they didn't have consent. Children are treated differently. Now, ordinarily an offense will be committed by someone of age. But children are also offenders, and that's why we have the Children Offenders Act, the Child Offenders Act, and so on and so forth. Any offense committed by whoever is punishable in law. It is the process of prosecuting the case that is different, but an offense is an offense, irrespective of the person committing it.
Maybe the only thing I can add there, DCJ, is that if they are below 18, if this child, because sometimes we say children are above, can be above, below 18, you are dealt in other ways than the way we deal with an adult, and probation will tell you that.
And that's why I said the process of
Yes, it's
refining the offense may be different, but the offense is an offense, irrespective of the person who has committed it. For children, it will be taken through a different route. For adults, a different route.
Why don't we have jails for children?
because children don't belong in jail. Children belong in school. They belong in families. Children need rehabilitation back to society. They do not belong in jail. Jail is for grown-ups, and that's why we have the schools that go and correct any offending child. Children do not belong in prison, and that's the reason we do not have prisons for children.
Joy does not have a question. Joy is saying, I would like to thank you for coming today and having time with us. We appreciate so much for educating us on our rights. I have learned a lot.
Thank you, Joy. I wish I was able to speak to every child in this country, but I'm glad for the opportunity of talking to children of Kenya today.
There's a child who's saying, I think they are aware that we don't have enough money to do things for children in the justice system. Can children sue the government for not providing, allowing them to participate in budget?
The answer is yes.
So, for not allowing them to participate?
The answer is yes. Now, all rights in this country are protected. And there is a way of everybody taking cases to court. Article 20-something in the Constitution says anyone can take a case to court through anyone else. So if children feel that the law has discriminated against them for not allowing them to participate in processes of governance, yes, they have the right to sue not just the government, but everybody who has discriminated against them. That's the law.
What can the judiciary do to help children who are put in the streets to beg on behalf of their parents?
The responsibility is not primarily the judiciaries. It is these other partners. It is society. It is the other arms of government who must ensure that we do not have children in the streets.
We have a child asking on behalf of another child who is a parent. This child is a child. She's 17 years old. She already has 3 children and she's pregnant again. And every child she's having has a different father. She's 17, she has 3 children, and she's pregnant again. What can we do? Okay.
That's a child in need of care and protection. Unfortunately, that doesn't come from the judiciary, but it does come from someone. This child who wants to help this child must get someone to report that matter to the children's department, and they are here, so that the child is protected. First, the fellows who are making the child pregnant year after year, and I hope the child is normal. If the child is not normal, and therefore somebody is taking advantage of that child, there's somebody who must do something. and that somebody is society, somebody close to that person. So let this child run to the nearest children's officer in their region and report so that the children's department can take action. What I say?
I'm thinking we have Anne here.
Yes.
That child who asked that question. Anne, please stand here so that she can see you. Whoever it is, she can see you in confidence. Anne is a children officer from headquarters. Yule ambaye ameuliza hilo swali, hatukuja tu kuongea. Anne hapa, umwangalie vizuri, you will have a chance to answer. Ndio uje utamwangalia, hang around, uje umuongeleshe. You still have a chance to speak. But for now, I just wanted them to see you so that that child can talk to you.
You know, no situation is without remedy. The challenge is, are we willing to render the remedy as society?
The other question is about this abuse of children online kwa mtandao. Huyu anasema, anauliza kwa Kiswahili kwamba watoto wanadhulumiwa mtandaoni. Sisi tunafanya nini kama judiciary na wahusika katika justice system?
These questions are depressing. Unfortunately, the judiciary is not an aggressor. The judiciary does not start action. The judiciary acts once action has been brought. That lady in pink there will answer that question for us. They are the people to take care of our children, to ensure that our children are safe, both online and offline.
I have been raped by my relative, and my parents are not allowing me to shout, to talk about it because they are saying it's a shame. What should I do?
Yes, a common practice, the depressing things that we go through in life. A crime is a crime, irrespective of who has committed the crime. That child must be helped. I am hoping that since these questions have an indication of where they are coming from, this lady in pink will follow these children and assist them. Now, see, what we have been doing as society is this. We commit crimes, particularly sexual offenses crimes, in the family setup, and we want to cover up. That is abominable. It's abominable, and so it must not be encouraged. The child must run to the nearest person who wants to listen to that child. If the person who wants to listen to the child is not in the home, let them talk to somebody else, who will then talk to somebody else, who will take it to the police and get this person arrested.
Third question here about extrajudicial killings of children, especially those who get themselves in gangs and they have weapons. So there's a child who is concerned that when these children are arrested, they get killed and they are not found. And if they are girls, they can even be found when they have been defiled. They have been in these gangs, they have been armed, but when they are arrested, they disappear and the parents have never gotten justice. So somebody has asked that question, and they says when the suspects are arrested, there's no evidence and the parents are left without justice. How can we help?
It is a crime for a child to commit a crime. It is a worse crime, if you ask me, for those that arrest us, and they are called police, to kill us before we are presented to the law. Extrajudicial killings are crimes. What I would urge is that we present evidence. Any case that is reported to the police and they have the courage, I don't know whether the police will investigate against the police, but somebody has to do something. Because one is a criminal does not give somebody a right to kill them. The only time, and you are not a criminal until proven a criminal, guilty. You are a suspect before you become guilty. And you only become guilty if there is evidence. A child who for any reason gets themselves or finds themselves in a criminal gang is entitled to protection of the law. they should be taken through the process of proving a case. And once the evidence is given, the penalty is usually not death. So why would anybody kill them? They should be presented to court. And where such occurrences have happened, somebody, including the person asking the question, ought to be able to report so that these things are done. But we have seen plenty of them. That's my question, therefore, and I ask that question to myself as well because I'm a member of society. What is wrong with us? What is wrong with us?
Court arrest men, give pregnancies, and dump those girls. Because giving birth is a blessing. Why can't the question is why can't the court arrest those men who give pregnancies and dump those girls? Because giving birth is a blessing. That is the question.
The offense is not the giving the pregnancy. The offense is the committing of the sexual offense with a child. Unfortunately, next time I think we must arrange this better than we did today. I must have a policeman sitting next to me next time. I must have a probation officer sitting next to me. I must have the prison sitting there to tell me, to tell us, to tell children why we do these things. Now, a man who makes a woman pregnant and dumps them, a child pregnant and dumps them, is guilty of defilement, not just the pregnancy, defilement. And defilement is punishable under the Sexual Offences Act. So get evidence against defilement, get the man, and thereafter, by the way, pursue the man to take care of their child. But you have got to be made aware of these rights.
Saying, I'm honored for you, Deputy Chief Justice, to come here and teach us about our rights. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Neema. I wish we had better opportunities to do this.
So, Madam DCJ, there were some questions related to education, and I took the duty to just hand them over to Madam behind you to read them.
Thank you.
She may not answer them one by one, but they are related. So you.
Thank you. Thank you. Please answer the questions students ask about education. And as you answer, please remember that education is a right to every child under the Constitution.
Thank you very much, Deputy Chief Justice. Why aren't all schools disability friendly to allow children with disabilities to study in all schools? All schools is a requirement for them to be disability friendly in terms of infrastructure, and all children with disability should go to the nearest school to them to study, because we have what is called inclusive education, which enables the learners not to go to special schools, but to go to the nearest school, where they will find either a teacher who has done special education, and they will be able to study there. The Board of Management of Schools is tasked to make all schools disability friendly, because they are supposed to ensure that the facilities there are fit for everyone. Question. Our main cause of misbehavior is influence from environment due to high poverty level. Since food is a basic right, what action is the government or the judiciary taking to ensure feeding programs in Kibera slum primary schools? There was a program on, there was a feeding program from the Ministry of Education. It stopped, and I am sure that the government is planning to have it back, because it ensures that all children went to school. However, it is the responsibility of every parent and guardian to ensure that their children are fed. So if the government has not come in, the parent has the responsibility. However, I've said that plans are underway to have the feeding programs back. One of the reasons for misbehavior is easy influence by our peers and environment because of high poverty level. I think this is a repetition. Yes. However, I have given our representative of the Deputy County Commissioner 2 questions, which I may not have been able to answer, so he is going to answer.
Thank you. I want first to appreciate our Deputy CJ for the wisdom detected in the way she's answering our questions. And for the case of the child that had asked about those men who impregnate girls or even women and dump them, there is also the offense of neglect. You see, after, I think the concern with that child is even the dumping. And dumping here is meant to mean they should have taken more care after them, maybe they impregnate that girl. So the offense of neglect is there, and then action need to be taken. The question forward to me, one is, what measures has the Kenyan government taken to reduce the increasing population of street children who don't have access to education, to make sure that they have a good life later? I want to mention here that currently we have a program where we are mopping up all the street families. It is an ongoing process in conjunction with the NMS to make sure that we have no street children. We are arresting them and taking them to the appropriate homes, which the county government is manning. So it is an action that is being worked on. Two, Joseph from St. Luke's. What is the government doing to ensure the children in secure places attend school without fear? Of course, in all areas where the government has mapped as hotspot areas, increased police patrols have been there. Maybe in times that children go to school, we had cases of the slum areas where children are supposed to go to school very early in the morning, and because the slum areas have some of their own technicalities, we as a government has put in place police patrols. We have instructions to the staff posts, the OCSs, that police patrols are enhanced during the wee hours of the morning and even in the evening to ensure that as children go to school, they are safe. Thank you very much.
Probation, where are you? Get ready to respond to the concerns that relate to you and to the discharge of your mandate. Get ready, the children's officer, immediately after probation, please.
Thank you very much, Honorable Lady Justice Philomena, our Deputy Chief Justice, and our chairperson of the task force. Thank you for the opportunity to respond to a few questions. Now, I was requested to talk about the kind of offenses that children may be charged with. I want to say that just like our Deputy Chief Justice said, you can be charged with any kind of offense that is prescribed by law. But the difference is the process. And from my experience in probation department, I'm Caroline Atieno, and I serve with the probation department. Probation department basically deals with supervising offenders or children in the community. Umenielewa? Tunalinda ama kurekebisha watoto, lakini kwa jamii, kwa community. And most of the offenses that we deal with, ambao watoto wameletwa nayo, most of it is stealing. It can be petty stealing, it can be breaking and stealing, it can be burglary. Sometimes they are caught with other people committing robbery with violence. Can you imagine that? sometimes it is assault, wamepigana na wakaumiza mtu vibaya, so wanaweza kushikwa, walete kotini na waletwe kwa probation. Hiyo ni kifungo cha nje. Alafu kuna defilement ya wasichana na wavulana wakiwa teenage wanaweza patikana wakifanya nini? Nataka mjue hiyo ni makosa, na kama wewe ni kijana unaweza letwa kotini. Sijasikia kama wasichana pia wanaletwa kotini, lakini tunaangalia vile sheria pia inaweza angalia masilahi ya, kwa sababu saa zingine pia ni msichana anajaribu kufanya nini? Kunyemelea kijana. Si ni ukweli? Sasa mjue hiyo ni makosa na unaweza letwa kotini na utafungwa. Nimesikia jaji wetu Deputy Chief Justice amesema hakuna prison ya watoto, na hiyo ni ukweli. Lakini kuna mahali utapelekwa. Ukipatikana umefanya makosa, kuna mahali watoto wanapelekwa. Na sidhani kama mnaweza kufurahia, kwa sababu watoto wanafaa kukaa na wazazi, wanafaa kuenda shule vile mmekuja shuleni. Si ni ukweli? Na sasa nataka tu niwaelimishe ni wapi watoto huwa wanapelekwa. Kuna mahali inaitwa Boston Institution. Sasa hiyo Boston iko chini ya prisons. Mnanisikia? Sio jela, inaitwa Boston Institution iko kwa prison, na ni mahali watoto ambao wao wamekuwa ni watabia sugu, hawarekebiki, wamepatiwa opportunity. Una children's department wamepatiwa opportunity wakuje probation, tuwaangalie wakiwa nje, tuwajaribu kuwarekebisha. Wazazi wamejaribu lakini wamekataa kubadilika. Sasa watoto kama hao wanaweza pelekwa hapo Boston Institution. Aya, kuna probation hostel. Sasa probation hostel iko chini yetu probation department. Hapo pia watoto wanaweza pelekwa. Wale ambao ni kama mazingira ya kwao haiwezi kuwasaidia kurekebika. Mnanisikiza hapo? Si ati wamekataa kurekebishwa, ni ile mazingira haiwezekani. Unaweza pata mtoto alishikwa na madawa, drugs. Alafu sasa wale ambao wanauza drugs wako tu pale nyumbani. Sasa mtoto kama huyo akirudishwa nyumbani, baada anaweza endelea kufanya nini? Kutumia hayo madawa. Sasa mtoto kama huyo anaweza pelekwa probation hostel ama rehabilitation school, mahali mwenzangu mwenye ameketi pale wa children's department yuko. Umesikia hiyo tofauti? Sasa ile Boston ya wale ambao wamekataa kurekebika kabisa. Alafu probation na rehabilitation school ni wale ambao jamii ama mazingira pahali wako haiwezi kumsaidia mtoto akarekebika kwa sababu ile tabia alikuwa akifanya. Watu ambao wanaminfluence afanye hiyo tabia wako hapo mahali hapo. Sawa sawa? Na pia kama mtoto kama huyo pia hatakikani nyumbani, kwa sababu kuna watoto ambao wamekosea, labda alienda akaibia jirani, sasa jirani amemkasirikia, huyo mtoto haezi rudishwa nyumbani, atapelekwa kwa probation hostel, na sisi tunaendelea kujaribu kutatua hiyo shida kwa niaba ya jirani na wazazi wake, ndio mtoto arudi nyumbani. Sawa sawa? Aya, alafu lingine nimesema robbery with violence, na hakimu wetu ametuambia vizuri watoto hawawezi kufungwa kifungo cha ndani ama robbery with violence, hizo ni zile makosa zile mbaya kabisa. Sawa sawa? Mtu hata anaweza ingia jela kwa maisha yake yote. Sawa sawa, na mada kwa maisha yake yote. Sasa watoto ambao wamepatikana na makosa kama hayo, kwa sababu ni watoto, hawawezi kupelekwa jela, watatolewa nje, waangaliwe kwa probation, ama wapelekwe Boston, ama wapelekwe hostel na rehabilitation school. Mmenisikia? Sasa muache hizo tabia na mwambie wenzenu, kuiba ni makosa, any kind of stealing. Sawa, kama uko peke yako ama uko na wengine, hiyo inaweza mtoto afungwe. Ama yani afungwe kifungo cha ndani Boston, ama awekwe kwa probation. Na unajua hata kama uko kwa probation si ati ni mzuri. Kila saa lazima ukuje kwa ofisi yangu niangalie unaendeleaje, natembelea kwenu, au na hiyo freedom sana. Sawa sawa. Kwa hivyo makosa ni ile lazima tuiepuke. Alafu kuna hiyo assault, kupigana, kuna hiyo nimesema hata shoplifting, mtu ameenda supermarket unachukua kitu hapo na unaficha alafu anashikwa. Haya yote yanaweza kuleta kotini. Kwa hivyo ni ile kama watoto tujichunge sana. Alafu ya mwisho hii nilisema nitasema arson, kuchoma mashule. Hiyo ni makosa. Sawa sawa. Na watoto ukipatikana ni wewe ulianzisha hilo kitendo, unaweza letwa pia wewe kotini. Na mtu akipatikana ako na makosa, hata kama ni mtoto, basi anaweza kutolewa kwa jamii, apelekwe wapi? Boston ama probation hostel ama rehabilitation school. Ama atakwa kifungo cha nje. Sawa sawa. Natumai nimejibu hayo maswali ambao nilihitajika kujibu.
Asante sana Madam Caroline. Naomba Madam Ann Thiongo kutoka Department of Children Services pia ushughulikie yale yalikuwa yanahusu hiyo department. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Chief Justice. Thank you very much, Justice Madheka. Na asanteni sana kwa kuja hapa. Sisi tumefurahi sana. Na tumefurahi sana kwa ile maswali mmeuliza. I think it's overwhelming. Hatukuwa tunafikiria mnaweza uliza maswali mengi hivyo, lakini nataka kumshukuru Madam Deputy Chief Justice kwa kujibu some of the questions. Now, there was a question regarding what happens when parents are separated. And I like giving examples. Supposing I'm the mother and my colleague here, Alex, is the husband. Na tuko na mtoto anaitwa, tumuite leo Teresia, si ndio? So we are separated but we have a child. Ningetaka kwanza kusema idara ya watoto. I forgot to say where I come from. Nimetoka idara ya watoto vile Justice Madheka amesema. Na tuko na ofisi mbalimbali. We have children, we have offices across the county, all the 47 counties. We have sub-county children offices. Kwa kila sub-county tuko na idara ya watoto na tuko na officers wa watoto. Kwa hivyo mtu anaweza kuenda kwa hizo ofisi akiwa na shida, ajieleze na hiyo kesi itachukuliwa na ofisa wa watoto na itapelekwa mbele. But I want to reply to the question about what happens if the parents are separated. Hizo kesi huwa ni mingi sana. Ukikuja kwa ofisi ya watoto, hata Kibira hapa iko, utakuta line ndefu sana asubuhi. You know, and usually it's mothers. They are women, they are there, they make long queues. They come to complain because the man has run away with their children. The man is not providing, apatiwa watoto chakula, alipiwa watoto school fees. So kazi yetu kama ofisa watoto ni kusikiliza hizo kesi na tunajaribu vile tunaweza. Tuseme mama amekuja kwa ofisi na angetaka na anakuja kuripoti bwana afanyi 1 2 3 in terms of the children, tunaita huyo bwana. Tunaita Alex, tunamwambia kuja, mama ako hapa, kuja siku fulani. Sasa tunaketi, tunasikiliza both the parents, tunasikia vile maneno yuko, tunaelewa kwa kweli hawaishi pamoja, lakini sheria ya the constitution says kila mzazi ako na jukumu juu ya watoto. Si mnajua hayo? Yes, kila mzazi ako na jukumu juu ya watoto. So wakubaliane hapo, nani atalipa school fees, nani atalipa uniform, nani atapatia mtoto pocket money, tuseme ako boarding, nani atanunua viatu, mtoto akifunga shule anaweza kaa na baba 1 week, anaweza kaa na mama 2 weeks, hivyo kukiwa na half term, kijana mtoto anaweza aenda kwa mama 2 days like that. So what we do is a joint parental agreement. Na tunaandika. Na wote wawili wanafanya nini? Wanasign. Sometimes it's difficult and as a department we are not able to really enforce. Zingine utaita mzazi mara moja hata kuja, mara ya pili hata kuja, mara ya tatu hata kuja. So tunachukua hiyo jukumu na tunaweza pelekea hiyo kesi iende wapi? Kotini. But we do a joint parental agreement, tunazungumzia, we try and do a bit of counseling, tunaeleza ya kuwa hiyo jukumu ni yenu wawili mkiwa wazazi. Hata kama mmekosana, mtoto lazima asome, mtoto lazima ende shule, mtoto lazima anunuliwe uniform, mtoto lazima akule, and all those must be provided. So that is what we do, and I've said we have offices across the country, so mtu anaweza ingia kwa hizo ofisi na alete hizo kesi. That is one of the things that we do. Alafu tena kuna hiyo shida tena ya custody, mzazi mmoja hataki mzazi mwingine aone mtoto. Tunajaribu kuongelesha both the parents. Sometimes it's not easy, but ikifika mahali kimeumana, basi tunasema hiyo kesi iende wapi? Iende kotini. Then there was another case about where children have been abused by parents, and the parents do not want that matter reported. They have been abused physically, they have been abused sexually, and the parents do not want those cases reported. Remember, you have rights as children. You should not be abused either physically or sexually or verbally, and therefore nimesema tuko na ofisi mbalimbali za watoto. Unaweza kuja uongeleshe mwalimu, na mwalimu mkuu ako hapa, si ndio? And I believe mwalimu mkuu atakusaidia. Na hiyo kesi inaweza enda kwa polisi, inaweza enda kwa children officer. So wewe usikae hapo na shida yako tafadhali, kwa sababu umechapwa na mzazi, umedhulumiwa, umefanywa vitendo mbaya na mzazi hataki report. Feel free to come and talk to the head teacher here. The head teacher will direct you to the children officer, the head teacher will direct you to the police, and many other things can be done regarding that matter. Nimesikia tena pia about street families. Yes, tuko na watoto wako kwa streets, and it's not something we encourage, but you know sometimes children find themselves on the streets because of different circumstances. But as a directorate, we have the Street Families Rehabilitation Trust Fund, and it has different programs dealing with children on the streets. Lakini tunasema hata kukiwa mbaya aje, usitoroke kwa nyumba uende ukae uko kwa street. Ama hivyo ndio mnafanyanga? Mnaenda kwa streets? Hapana, tusiende kwa streets, tujaribu, tuongee na wazazi, tutafute mahali tatizo iko, ndio tuweze kuendelea kukaa na wazazi. There's also that issue where a child has been raped several times. Again, that is the same avenue that child would use. You can talk to an uncle who will listen to you. You can talk to the teacher who is able to listen to you. You can talk to anybody. You can walk to the children officer. You can walk to the police officer, and that matter will be dealt with. So it's unfortunate where a child has been abused thrice, has children from different families, because like we have said, that child may not be mentally well, but somebody is taking advantage of her. And therefore, hata all sheria iko to ensure that those who do that, the sheria itafanya kazi. Sijui kama kuna swali lingine nimewacha, but I just wanted to say, as children, we also must take care of ourselves. Ni kweli? Yes or no? Yes, we must take care of ourselves. We must also not walk in the dark. Kama ni wakati wakaenda nyumbani, shule 4 o'clock imefika ama 5 o'clock, you're supposed to walk home. Walk together, many of you. Don't walk alone. Just walk home straight. Don't talk to strangers. Don't give an ear to people who you don't know. Let us also take care of ourselves. Hii dunia tena ijakuwa mzuri sana. Our children have been continuously abused. You've heard the Deputy CJ say, you have heard Justice Madeka say, our children are really being abused. We have very many laws, but still children are being abused sexually. So let us also have a responsibility and take care of ourselves. Can we promise ourselves that? Yes. Yes, please take care of yourself. Do the right thing. Ukitumwa kwa duka, we kimbia kwa duka, rudi. Fanya vile unitakana ufanye. And don't misbehave with boys, or boys don't misbehave with girls. And I'm sure things will be right for you. Is that okay? Yes, thank you. Asanteni sana.
Thank you so much, Anne. Tumpigie makofi mazuri. Mengine tuongeze. Asante sana. Thank you very much. Kwa sasa kipindi hiki ningependa kumrudishia MC wa wakati huu aweze kutuongoza. Asante.
Hello, hello. Hello, hello. How you all doing? Mnaendeleaje? How is it going so far? Because mimi I'm excited, sindio? We've got to hear from her, and I understand that Mbagathi has something special for the DCJ, sindio? Prepare. Be excited, sindio? Miss Justice, please also be very excited. At this juncture, I will be very, very happy to say thank you, by the way. Thank you for listening to us. The panel discussion, the questions from everyone, I believe kama ulikuwa na swali, you bring it to me and I've forwarded it. Everyone has read their question and we thank you for answering. Sindio? Yes, there was a question raised before. Can we sue the government? Yes, I think we're going to do that because they are ignoring us in a way. Sindio? Child participation has not been happening. And at this juncture, I want to hand over to Michelle and Omar, our previous MC.